if you're seeing this, you are both a starseed and also very likely on the autistic spectrum. And we're going to delve into 5 signs that this is the case for you in case you're skeptical. But first, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Hannah and I help people to own their powers and step into the driver's seat of their own lives. Today, I'm going to be doing that by helping you identify what autism really means and how you can own and integrate your autistic diagnosis and use that to propel yourself on your spiritual journey. It is my firm belief that all mental illness and diagnoses and just neurodivergent type people in general, these things aren't negative. They aren't something that is wrong with you. And in fact, all of these things, any disease really, any sort of disorder or illness, something that society wants you to believe is something wrong with you, they all have a spiritual definition and greater, higher purpose to them. And so today, our focus is autism. Because guess what, my friends? I'm on the spectrum. And I only just realized this within the past year or so. And what is even crazier to me is that also within the past year or so, like my whole family realized that they're all more or less on the spectrum. Many of my friends have, and like all of my clients and followers have come to me and said, oh, hey, Hannah, guess what? I'm autistic. It's too much of a pattern for me to ignore. So I'm starting to wonder, are all starseeds autistic? And could autism in fact be a scientific explanation for what it means to be a starseed? And just so you know, I believe, I'm using the term starseed here, but I believe this also may apply to otherkin and therians, anyone along that vein, anyone who's never really felt human. So what kind of really like sparked this idea for me, it was like just a little over a year ago when I had this deep existential crisis about my identity and not feeling human and not understanding what there is to enjoy about being human, just feeling kind of like I'm trapped here in this human body and being forced into this experience. I'm like, there's nothing good about it. I hate being human. I hate humans. Like, what is there to like about this? And I was having a really, honest to God, crisis here, existential crisis. And I was walking at one point with 2 of my good friends, and they're both like into this spirituality and stuff like this. And I'm like, hey, can I throw this out there? I'm like, what do you enjoy about being human? Because I'm kind of struggling. Like, I don't know what is uniquely human and what the good things about being human are. And they both like gave me all these answers and stuff. And when I described to them still that their answers didn't satisfy me, of course, because I was in this crisis moment. And I was just trying to verbalize and explain like how frustrated I am and how I feel not human and trying to put words to something that's so intangible. And then like the one friend who very much is autistic and has Asperger's, like looked at me and he's like, that sounds like autism. And honestly, in that moment, I was like really, really triggered. Externally, I was like, okay, yeah, that's interesting. I'll think about that. But internally, I was like, no, like you didn't hear, did you just hear like everything I just told you? Did that just go in one ear and out the other? I'm not just autistic, like there's so much more here. This is a big existential thing. It can't just be put into this one like little label. It can't be described. It can't be worked with under this one little label of autism. But as fate would have it, over this past year or so, I learned that he was absolutely right. I am autistic. And like I said, I think everyone in my like sphere also is to varying degrees on the spectrum as well. And it really kind of aligns with feeling like a starseed, a dragon soul, otherkin. Like we aren't from here, right? Like we're not human. I really think he had a good point. And so that's what inspired me to make this video. I feel like there aren't very many people speaking on this topic, and people that are still like receiving these diagnoses and feeling like there's something wrong with them, like it's something they have to fix. And I just want to validate that it is not. Like, this is a gift. You are a gift to this world, and it's not a mistake that you're here, and it's not a punishment. You chose to incarnate here for a reason, and your autistic tendencies are a part of that. They're tools, if you will, on this mission of helping humanity ascend. So what we're gonna do in this video is I'm gonna go into 5 common signs, symptoms, traits, whatever terminology you wanna use, of autism, 5 very common signs. And then I'm going to tell you how these are also signs of being a starseed or an otherkin, and kind of why they have a higher spiritual meaning to them. And I really, really encourage you to watch this whole video, please and thank you. And then once you have, to leave me a comment below on how many signs you relate to, and also whether or not you've already identified as both a starseed and autistic, because there's just an unignorable pattern here. And because I haven't found so much research externally, I'm gonna do the research, friends. I'm doing the research, and you can be a part of that. Know that we are pioneers, we are front runners in this topic of kind of like bridging the gap between spirituality and this 3D physical plane. And I feel like this link between autism and starseeds is a big first step in that. So that being said, 5 signs that you are autistic and also a starseed. 1, highly observant of your surroundings. So this can be an autistic trait. And this, I can see the clear link between being a starseed. So essentially, if you're not familiar with what a starseed is, it's like someone whose soul dominantly incarnates on other planets or in other realities, like that isn't usually here on Earth. And so we are quite literally aliens. And so humanity can quite literally seem very alien to us. And as a result, we become hyper observant of everything around us because we're trying to make sense of it. We're trying to take it all in. It's almost like a field trip. We are sent here on this field trip to like observe and to understand planet Earth and humanity and the humans specifically on Earth at this time. And so being highly observant of your surroundings as an autistic person could be this starseed aspect of yourself, your soul, kind of gathering information on how earthbound, as I'm going to call them, act. And this just makes me think of my personal story of literally being birthed into the world that my parents always bring up to me and they don't let me forget. So apparently when I was born, I didn't cry, I didn't make noise or anything like that. Just came out real quietly, real peacefully, and I was just looking around. I was literally just observing. I'm like, oh, isn't that interesting? This is Earth. All right, I'm here. This is my mission. Let's do this. And I feel like that's the case for many autistic people, many starseeds, is like we get here and we're like, oh, isn't that interesting that they do things this way? Isn't that interesting that this is the preconceived assumption of how things have to be? Isn't that interesting how this feels, how this looks? It's so different from what we're used to as starseeds. So sign number 2 is faking it at being human, i.e., I believe the official autistic term for this is masking. And this is especially common for female autistic people. That's why it's less diagnosed in women. It's not that there are less women with autism, it's just less perceivable because women are more social creatures typically, and we're really good at hiding this shit. So yeah, like women are better at hiding the fact that they might in fact be autistic. And so this sign is like masking, faking it at being human. It kind of builds off of the first point, which is 1, we observe our surroundings. We observe what normal humans are doing, what neurotypicals are doing, what earthbounds are doing. and then we attempt to duplicate that, because let's be honest, it doesn't always work so seamlessly, so flawlessly, but we will attempt to apply that and kind of act like a human to blend in. So 3, this is like quite a few different things, but in my opinion, they're all kind of like related. They're all linked to each other. So it's like having few friends, struggling with relationships, feeling very isolated, feeling misunderstood. And then the specific starseed trait building on that is wanting to go home. As you can see, they're all kind of linked. And they also build off of point numbers 1 and 2, which is, it's like once we've observed our surroundings and we're trying to fit in, we're trying to mask, once that doesn't go so well, we can start to get discouraged and be like, well, I just can't fit in. No one's ever going to understand me. Why do I have to change myself to fit in with my surroundings? Why can't people just understand me as wholly and authentically me? We get really discouraged, and a lot of times we will isolate and just not have many friends, which then compounds the feelings of wanting to go home, wanting not to be here. And it really is like this, it can be a vicious cycle, honestly. Not always, though. I feel that this cycle can be really necessary for us on our spiritual awakening process, because, as we're going to get into the next point, I don't want to spoil it, sometimes on this journey, we can be distracted by like relationships and other people and other energies because we're so sensitive. So it's good to be in our own energy and to just focus on ourselves and our own healing journey. So 4 is overstimulation and oversensitivity. Okay, so this is an autistic trait, and why this is a trait that totally aligns with being a starseed, in my opinion, is, again, we're aliens. We're not from here. Even if you're not an alien from another planet or star system, if you're from like just a different reality, or you're used to being a different species, you're not used to the density of Earth. Earth is a difficult place to be. It vibrates at a very low frequency compared to what you are most likely used to. Starseeds, what we're used to is like 5th dimensional energies and above, which vibrates really fast. It feels much lighter. And so incarnating here in the 3D can be very hard. It can be heavy. It can be challenging, can be even painful to just assimilate. Our bodies are not meant to assimilate to this energy. In fact, our bodies, like the reason they are the way we are is because we're trying to get the planet to assimilate to our higher frequencies. This is how we help with ascension. The planet is meant to assimilate to us, not the other way around. But this can be very hard on our systems. And I guess here's a bonus sign, apparently, especially for women, again, 9 in 10 apparently autistic women have like gastrointestinal issues, digestive issues of some kind. This is because, like, quite literally, our systems are not made to digest this earth food, this low density food, and these low density energies. We struggle to transmute that. Our bodies struggle. So yeah, it can be really a rough ride to be here, but know that this is changing, and this is part of why we're here, is to get humanity and planet Earth's energies to lift in frequency and to match our own. So sign number 5, the last sign, is profuse talking about subjects on which we're passionate. And this is like super autistic trait about it. And how this relates to starseeds, honestly, the downloads I've gotten, literally what we're doing when we're just talking, and we're not like following social cues or whatever of when to shut the hell up and let the other person talk, it's because we're channeling, okay? We are literally channeling. And I can tell you, as a channeler myself, as a psychic, this is why, like, when I'm on a tangent, like, I'll be talking, and sometimes, like, in my lives and stuff, people will be like, slow down, Hannah, just take a breath, breathe, stop talking. I'm like, I can't. I am literally channeling energy. I'm translating energy right now. And it just comes through like this. And so it can be really difficult to just turn that off. And in a sense, what you're doing when you channel as well is You have lifted yourself out of the time matrix, out of the 3D. You are in like the fourth, fifth, and above dimensions when you are channeling. Time loses all meaning. So that is why, like, as autistic people, we might be talking. We lose track of time completely. We might be talking about something for like 20 minutes straight, and it might just feel like 2 minutes. We might feel like, you know, the other person has, of course, had plenty of opportunities to come in and say something and have a dialogue with us. And then specifically, I guess in a sense, this could be another sign, but topics that we're passionate about. Because otherwise, autistic people are kind of tight-lipped, right? It's only things we're passionate about, because that's part of our mission here as Starseeds, is to show neurotypical people, aka earthbounds. Again, I love that term. It just popped in for this video. Earthbounds. It makes me think of the video game. So we're meant to teach these people that it is okay to follow what you're passionate about. It's okay to talk about what you're passionate about. You're allowed to allow that joy to just flow through you. That's part of our mission, because right now, like, these neurotypical people, these earthbounds are so like mired in the third dimension. It's really like this energy of having to conform to what others are doing and not being allowed to be their authentic selves. So we're here to teach them to be their authentic selves, and that's totally okay. So as starseeds, again, we're used to incarnating in worlds, planets, dimensions that are higher frequency. And in these higher frequency societies, like, it's just a given that you follow your passions. Like, if you're not interested in something, why would you give it your time? Why would you focus on it, right? So that is what we're here to show this planet and to help humanity ascend, is it is okay to follow your passions, and it is okay to be wholly and authentically you. Those, my friends, are the signs. I'm super curious. How many signs do you relate to? And legit, more than ever, I really want you guys to give me some feedback in the comments below, please and thank you. Like I said, we're pioneers and we are really anchoring this stuff onto the planet right now. And you just letting me know about your own experience is gonna help us all gather this information and make sense of it, okay? This aids in our mission. So please let me know how many signs you relate to. Also let me know, are you autistic? Do you identify with that? Or do you think that you might be autistic? If you don't, I find it honestly like highly unlikely that you would have like been a vibrational match to this video if you're not at least somewhere on the autistic spectrum. Trust me, like you, like, I was just so in denial about the fact that I could ever be autistic, because there's like this really negative connotation still in our society about it, right? Until I fully understood it, and now I'm like, yeah, I relate to all of it. It makes all of the sense, and I'm not afraid to admit that. And it's a gift, really. It's a gift. So know that you are perfect just as you are. You are not broken, okay? And if you're questioning whether or not you're autistic, I encourage you, before commenting, do a little research. Maybe you'll be surprised like I was. Maybe you'll discover something about yourself. Because like I said, more and more, it's just an unignorable pattern between autistic people and starseeds that I've seen here. And also, if you are a woman, you're really going to want to look specifically at like signs of autistic women, because again, there isn't much research out there quite yet on women and autism specifically, because it manifests slightly differently in men than it does in women. And women, like myself, we are better at masking it, so it goes like under the radar more often. Finally, let me know any typical autistic traits or signs or symptoms that you are aware of that you would like me to go more into the spiritual meanings of, because I feel called to do like more videos on this topic, and I will once I've gathered enough information and just seen what you all are interested in. So I very much appreciate you. I appreciate your feedback. Know that you deserve to be here. You are not a mistake. You are not broken. You are perfect just as you are. I hope you can feel this love that I am sending you right now, my friends. Me, and the dragons and your starseed brothers and sisters. We're sending you so much love. You are not alone, my friends. Until next time, stay powerful. Boom! It was a struggle to reach the camera this time.